Hi all, welcome to the new video of problem solving using C. In this video we are going to discuss functions in C language. Before going to the definition, we need to understand the type of function in C. We have two type of functions in C, library functions and user defined functions. So moving to the first category, library function. These are the functions which are declared in the header file such as printf, scanf, gets, puts, seal, floor, etc. These are already predefined, and by including header file you can access these functions. These are called library functions. These inbuilt functions are called library function. And the second type of functions are created by the C programmer and can be used in your programs many times. It reduces the complexity of a big program and optimizes the code. Now we already completed the topics of library functions in the module 1 and 2, and in this video we are going to discuss user defined functions in C. So a program can be divided into several parts. These parts are called function, that is also called modules. And function contains the set of programming statements enclosed within flower bases, and it can be called many times to provide reusability and modularity of the C program. So one of the main advantages of using function is the reusability of code, and modularization is the important feature of C language. So that in other ways we can say that a C program is a collection of functions, and that means a function creates a program. A function is also called a procedure or a subroutine in other languages. Now we are going to discuss the advantages of C user defined functions. So the first advantage is, by using functions we can avoid rewriting the same code again and again in your programming language. So if you declare or if you create a function in your C program, so whenever you want that code you can call that function according to your needs. So this is the one advantage. By using functions we can avoid rewriting of the same code and again and again. Now we can call C functions at any number of times from any place in a program, and we can track a large C program easily when it is divided into multiple functions. For example, if you are going to perform if you are going to write a program for arithmetic operations, we have addition, subtraction, multiplication, division and modulus. So you need to write all the code every time. For this purpose you can make use of the function. You can divide the entire program into addition, subtraction, multiplication, division and modulus. So when you call division it will add numbers, it will divide numbers. When you call addition it will add numbers. When you call multiplication function it will multiply the numbers, like that, the use of function. Now the main achievement of function is reusability of the code. The same code can be called again and again. And now C user defined function aspects. So there are three aspects for the C user defined function. You need to by heart. First one, function declaration. Second, function call, and third, function definition. Function declaration, function call and function definition. Moving to the function declaration part, a function must be declared globally in a C program after the header file. So here is the syntax: return type followed by function name and argument list. This can be for formal or actual argument, then return type followed by function, then argument list. Here we have an example: hash include stdio.h after function. After header file you need to declare the function. Here we have the data type int, then function name, then arguments are int num1 and int num2. These are the two arguments. So after function declaration you need to use the semicolon. Semicolon is must after the function declaration. In the case of function definition there is no need for semicolon. In the case of function declaration you need a semicolon here. Now moving to the function call. So function can be called from anywhere in the program, and the for calling the function we need the following syntax: function name followed by argument list. Function name followed by argument list. So here is the example for calling a function. We have two local variables: a is equal to 100, b is equal to 200 of integer data type. A is equal to, this value is initialized, a is equal to 100 and b is equal to 20, and we have one more integer variable, that is ret, that is calling a function to get maximum value. Ret is the variable to assign the function. So here is the function call statement: maximum of a comma b. That means maximum of 100 comma 200. This is passed to the function definition. This part is passed to the function definition. Now moving to the third aspect, that is function definition. So it contains actual statements which are to be executed. So here is the syntax: return type followed by function name, then argument list. After that we have the function body within flower braces. Now here is an example for function definition: int max of int num1, int num2. In the previous case 100 and 200 came here. Then here local variable declaration in the result: num1 greater than num2, 100 greater than 200, no, num1 is not greatest, so the result num2 is the result, so the 200 is the greatest value. So here is the function definition. In the function definition there is no semicolon. Here is the syntax: return type followed by function name, then argument list, and after that you need to write the function body. Now here is the example. This example we have function declaration is there: int max, int num1, int num2, then function calling is the maximum of a comma b, that is 100 comma 200, then function definition is there, then these values 100 and 200 came here, then the result is passed, that is result is passed here, then you will get the maximum value returned here. So you can run this using online GDB or your compiler. Keep in mind, for including a function we need three accepts. First one, function declaration, then function calling, and function definition. Here is the example, maximum value is 200. Here is the output. Now moving to the next topic in function, that is function recursion. Function recursion means a function called itself is called a function. That is the process of repeating items in a self-similar way. If a program allows you to call a function inside the same function, then it is called a recursive function. Here is the syntax: void recursion, it is the function, then recursion called here. This is the recursive function. This is the recursive function that call the function again and again. And inside in the main function we have the recursive function declaration. Now moving to the example. So the definition is a function called itself is called function recursion. Here we have an example for function recursion. Sorry. After header file we have the function definition is here. You can define here also. Then unsigned long int factorial unsigned int. If I less than 1 return 1, then here is the recursive function, return I into 1 into factorial of I minus 1. That is, if you give the value of 12 here, then 12 come here, then 12 into factorial of 12 minus 1, 12 then it will execute like this: 12 into 11 into 10 into 9 into 8 into 7 into 6 up to 1 factorial. So this is the explanation for function recursion. This factorial function is called again and again, then you will get the result for the code. So the result will be like this: output factorial of 12 is 47900160, like this you will get the result. So one more topic is there in this example: pass arrays to the function. Here we have a function is the how you can pass array to a function. This is can be explained using this program. Here we have hash include stdio.h using a function, that is display. We have age 1 and age 2. We are going to print the age 1 and age 2. So in the main function we have declared age of array with age 2, 8, 4 and 12. Then display age array of 1 and age array of 2. That is these two values to get displayed. So it will pass to this function age 1 and age 2, then it is displayed in the output. So 8 and 4 are displayed because this is indices 0, this is index 1, then 2, then 3, like that. So first you need to call the age of array of 1, that is 8, then age of array 2, that is 4. In the indices 2 we have 4. So here you can pass array to a function. Now one more topic is there in function arguments. A function is a function consists of argument. It can be formal or it can be actual. So in a function, while calling a function, there are two ways in which arguments can be passed to a function. So call by reference and call by value. Call by value and call by reference. First one, call by value. This method copies the actual value of an argument into the formal parameter of the function. In this case, changes made to the parameter inside the function have no effect on the argument. So by default, C programming uses call by value method. So here is one example for call by value. For swapping two values in x and in y, here we have declared a function void swap of index into y. Now inside main function we have two values, integer values for a 100 and for b 200. Then before swap we have displayed two values, that is 100 and 200. Then swap 100, 20. It will go here and swap the values using call by value reference method, and you will get the result this one. Before swap 100 and 200, then after swap value a is equal to 100 and value b is equal to 200. This is the example for call by value. So you need to run this using online GDB or your compiler. Now moving to call by reference. This method copies address of an argument into formal parameter. Inside function, the address is used to access the actual argument used in the call, and this means that the changes made to the parameter affect the argument. So to pass a value by reference, argument pointers are passed to the functions just like any other value. So here argument pointers are passed to the functions, and here is an example for this method, call by reference. So the same example, a is equal to 100, b is equal to 100, 200. Then before swapping the values are displayed. Then after swapping, here the reference is passed, that is ampersand a, ampersand b. These pointers are passed here like star, pointer x and pointer y. Then the value gets swapped here in the function. So this will get the output like this. Before swap values 100, 200, then after swap values 200, 100. The same way, just input is different from the previous. Okay, then coming to one more real-time example is the call by value and call by reference. Difference between call by value and call by reference. Here we have cup of tea. This is the call by pass by reference method. Two cups are filled in this pass by value. Then one cup is filled. This is actual one. Fill cup function is the actual one. Then this is by call by reference, that is pointer. When this is by using value. This thing of the copy in the cup as the data in a variable. One is a copy and one is the original. Now moving to the different table. Here we have the parameters for difference. Then call by value and call by reference is there. Now moving to the first parameter is argument. In call by value, a copy of the variable is passed. In call by reference, a variable is itself is passed. Effect: changes made in a copy of variable never modify the value of a variable outside in the function in the call by value method. And in the case of call by reference method, change in the variable also affects the value of the variable outside the function. Now alteration of value does not allow you to make any changes in the actual variable in the case of call by value, and in the call by reference method allow you to make changes in the value of variable by using function calls. Passing of variable: in the case of call by value, values of a variable are passed using straightforward method. In the case of call by reference, pointer variables are required to store the address of variables, and in value modification, original value is modified in the call by value method. The original value is modified in the call by reference. Call by value not modified. Then memory allocation: actual and formal arguments will be created in a different memory location in the call by value method. Then actual and formal arguments will be created in the same memory location in the call by reference method. This is the chart for difference between call by value and call by reference. So one more thing is the scope of a variable. This is the part of the program with which variable can be used. So here is an example for a variable. You can classify into local scope and global scope. Local scope means variable scope in a local part, and global means global part. So a variable declared within a function has a local scope by default. So here is an example. Then output is there for the example. Int sum, int plus int 2. So sum is the variable here, then int 1, int 2. So inside block local variable 300. This is inside. Then inside function outside the sum is 9. So we have passed the values 4 and 5. Inside the local variable we have the value 300, and out inside the function outside the block some value is, that is 4 plus 5. Here is the code to add. So this is local scope, and coming to global scope, here is an example. In the global number 20 global variable declaration, then inside main function we have global num %d, then global number is accessor, then global num again declare initializer, then new global num, new global num. You need to run this using online GDB. Take a screenshot of this program. Then global num 20 here in the global declaration, then new global num is inside the main function displayed like this. New global num is 50. After printing the value of global variable, it is changed to new value which is verified by printing it. So this is the level of scope in C language. Two types of scope: local scope and global scope. So I hope you understand. In the next class I will come with string in C. Thank you all.